Welcome to this complete guide on Carbon Intensity Indicator or CII calculation for tanker vessels. Before watching this, please watch lecture CII Explained Complete course for the basics. In this lecture, we will study the complete CII calculation procedure based on IMO MARPOL Annex 6 Regulation 28 and the latest MEPC resolutions. We will understand Attained CII formula, Required CII, all deductions and correction factors, tanker-specific adjustments, fuel carbon conversion factors, rating boundaries, and finally, a complete worked example. The objective is to understand not only the formula, but also the logic behind each calculation step. Carbon Intensity Indicator, commonly called CII, measures how efficiently a ship transports cargo in relation to the amount of carbon dioxide emitted. Its unit is grams of CO2 per deadweight ton nautical mile. CII applies to ships of 5,000 gross tonnage and above from January 2023. The calculation method is based on the Annual Efficiency Ratio, or AER. The regulatory framework consists of MEPC 336.76, which gives the calculation method, MEPC 337.77, which provides reference lines, MEPC 338.76, which specifies annual reduction factors, MEPC 339.76, which establishes the A to E rating system, MEPC 355.78, which provides correction factors and voyage adjustments, MEPC 364.79, which gives carbon conversion factors for fuels. Ships are rated from A to E. A means major superior performance. B means minor superior. C means moderate. D means minor inferior, and E means inferior performance. 3 consecutive D ratings or 1 E rating require corrective action under SEEMP Part 3. The attained CII is obtained by dividing adjusted carbon dioxide emissions by transport work. The numerator represents total carbon dioxide emissions after allowable deductions. The denominator consists of correction factors multiplied by deadweight and adjusted distance traveled. In the formula, CFJ is the carbon conversion factor of each fuel. FCJ is the total fuel consumed. FC Voyage represents fuel consumed during deductible voyage periods. TFJ represents STS or shuttle tanker correction. FC Electrical is fuel used to generate electrical power for deductible systems. FC Boiler is fuel used for cargo heating in cargo discharge operations. FC Others is fuel consumed by standalone engine-driven cargo pumps. The term 0.75 minus 0.03 Y determines how much of electrical, boiler, and other fuel consumption is deductible. Capacity is summer deadweight. Distance is total distance minus deductible distance. Thus, CII essentially measures carbon emissions per unit transport work. Required CII is calculated using the reference CII multiplied by 1 minus the reduction factor Z divided by 100. For tankers, the reference line is 1218.8 multiplied by DWT raised to the power negative 0.488. The annual reduction factors are 5% in 2023, 7% in 2024, 9% in 2025, and 11% in 2026. The scaling factor controlling deductions also changes every year.
In 2023, 75% of electrical, boiler, and other fuel is deductible. In 2024, the deductible percentage becomes 72%. In 2025, it reduces to 69%, and in 2026, only 66% is deductible. This gradual reduction encourages ships to improve overall fuel efficiency rather than relying solely on correction factors.
Certain fuel consumption and distances can be excluded from CII calculations. These include fuel consumed while at berth, anchor, or drifting, deviation for safety reasons or rescue operations, additional distance in fuel due to bad weather, waiting for instructions or pilot, ice navigation, and quarantine restrictions. For these exclusions, both fuel consumption and distance are deducted. However, all claims must be supported by logbooks, weather records, port records, and DCS documentation and are subject to verification by the administration or recognized organization. Tanker vessels engaged in ship-to-ship transfer operations can apply a correction factor called AF Tanker STS. Similarly, shuttle tankers using dynamic positioning during offshore loading can apply AF Tanker Shuttle. The correction fuel term, TFJ, is equal to 1 minus the adjustment factor multiplied by the fuel consumed during these operations. Only one correction type can be used during a reporting year. Also, when STS correction is applied, electrical, boiler, and other deductions cannot be simultaneously claimed. For shuttle tankers, STS correction and other deductions are also not allowed. Proper records of dates, positions, and fuel consumption are mandatory. Electrical power consumed by specific systems can be deducted. Examples include electrically driven cargo discharge pumps. The procedure is: first, obtain auxiliary engine SFOC from the EEDI or EEXI technical file. Second, measure electrical energy consumption in kilowatt hours. Third, calculate fuel consumption by multiplying SFOC by electrical energy. Finally, multiply by the scaling factor. For example, if the discharge pump consumes 500 kilowatt hours and SFOC is 190 grams per kilowatt hour, the fuel consumed is 95,000 grams. For 2024, 72% is deductible, giving a deduction of 68,400 grams. Boiler fuel deduction is unique to tankers. It applies to fuel consumed for cargo heating and discharge operations. Typical examples include heating heavy crude oil or bitumen cargoes. Boiler fuel may be measured by flow meters, tank soundings, or SFOC-based calculations. The method used must be approved in SEEMP Part 3. Consider the example of a VLCC in 2024. Boiler fuel consumption is 150 metric tons. The scaling factor is 0.72. Therefore, the deductible quantity becomes 108 metric tons. This deduction reduces the numerator and improves CII. FC Others refers to fuel consumed by independent engine-driven cargo pumps. These engines must be separate, dedicated engines. They should only operate during cargo discharge. Electrically driven pumps are covered under electrical deductions. Steam-driven pumps are covered under boiler deductions. Ballast pumps and bilge pumps are not eligible. Documentation should include fuel records, pump operation times, port logs, and verification with DCS records. Proper documentation is essential for approval. Some factors increase the denominator and improve CII. The first is fee for ice-class vessels. The second is FM, applicable to IA and IA superships. The third is FC for chemical tankers. And the fourth is FIVSE for voluntary structural enhancements. These factors account for capacity reductions or operational limitations and ensure a fair comparison between different ship types.
The rating boundaries for tankers are based on vectors specified in MEPC 33976. A and B boundary equals 0.82 times required CII. B and C boundary equals 0.93 times required CII. C and D boundary equals 1.08 times required CII. D and E boundary equals 1.28 times required CII. The worked example shows a VLCC in 2025. Total fuel consumption is 12,000 metric tons. Boiler and electrical deductions are applied. Using HFO carbon conversion factor of 3.114, adjusted carbon dioxide emissions become 36,876 times 10 to the power 9 grams. The attained CII is approximately 1.546 grams of CO2 per deadweight ton nautical mile.
Now let us perform a complete CII calculation for a product tanker in 2026. Deadweight is 100,000 tons. Total fuel consumption is 8,700 metric tons. Port stay fuel of 120 tons and 450 nautical miles are excluded. Boiler deduction equals 62.7 tons. Electrical deduction equals 19.8 tons. After applying carbon conversion factors, total carbon dioxide emissions become 26,219,434,000 grams. The denominator is 6,455,000,000 deadweight nautical miles. Therefore, attained CII equals 4.062 grams per deadweight nautical mile. Required CII equals approximately 6.32. Since 4.062 is below the A boundary, the vessel receives an A rating.
Congratulations! We have now completed the entire CII calculation step by step. I hope this example has made the calculation much easier to understand. If you're preparing for MEO Class 1 or would like more detailed videos on CII, EEXI, SEEMP Part 3, MARPOL, MLC, and other marine engineering topics, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Your support motivates me to continue creating accurate, exam-oriented content based on IMO regulations and class society guidance. Now, let's continue with the remaining slides on fuel conversion factors and key takeaways. Different fuels have different carbon conversion factors. Heavy fuel oil and VLSFO have a factor of 3.114. MGO and MDO have a factor of 3.206. LNG has a factor of 2.750 and produces around 12% less CO2. Methanol has a factor of 1.375, giving approximately 56% reduction compared with HFO. Ammonia and hydrogen have zero tank-to-wake carbon emissions. Therefore, fuel selection has a major influence on CII performance. ISO 8217-2024 defines marine fuel grades. HFO and VLSFO belong to RM grades. MGO and DMO belong to DM grades. LNG follows ISO 23306 standards. Methanol follows ISO 22281. LNG provides low sulfur emissions and reduced carbon intensity. Methanol provides much lower carbon emissions and can be stored at ambient temperature, although it requires additional safety measures due to its low flash point. Biofuel blends use carbon conversion factors calculated according to IMO Circular MEPC.1.Circ.905. Let us summarize the entire CII calculation process. CII is equal to adjusted carbon dioxide emissions divided by transport work. Tanker-specific deductions include boiler fuel, engine-driven cargo pump fuel, and STS or shuttle tanker corrections. The deduction benefit decreases every year because of the scaling factor. Tankers are rated from A to E. 3 consecutive D ratings or 1 E rating require corrective action under SEEMP Part 3. Fuel choice significantly affects CII. Finally, every deduction must be properly documented and verified by the administration or recognized organization. Understanding these principles is essential for MEO Class 1 examinations and for practical compliance with IMO carbon intensity requirements. Thank you for watching. If you found this lecture useful, please subscribe to the channel and share it with fellow marine engineers and deck officers.
Thank you for watching. If you found this lecture helpful, please subscribe and share it with your fellow marine engineers. See you in the next video.